Things may be starting to line up a bit here, folks. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and in today's video, we're breaking down the latest reporting surrounding the Red Sox and free agency and why things might be starting to look pretty good for this Red Sox team. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live tonight right here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be going over all the latest Red Sox news and reports and what it could mean for this Red Sox team. Going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you guys stop on by. And for members, by the way, we are going to be live tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for our members only stream. So a lot of fun things live-wise happening over the next couple of days. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so we actually have a few reports that we need to go over today, all of them in relation to where the Red Sox are at in this Alex Bregman sweepstakes, which has been the main theme of this channel for about a month now. And until there's a resolution, I think it's going to continue to be the main focus of this channel. But anyways, the first report we need to go over really doesn't have anything directly to do with the Red Sox at all and everything to do with the Detroit Tigers. Because yesterday, Evan Petzold, a beat reporter for the Detroit Tigers, had this to say on where they stood with the Alex Bregman sweepstakes. Quote, "The Tigers remain interested, but negotiations are at a standstill with less than 1 month until the first squad workout in spring training, according to a source with knowledge of this situation." Now, the question really starts to become, why does this matter in Red Sox terms, right? What does this mean for the Red Sox? Well, let's take a look at the two teams most connected to Alex Bregman outside of the Boston Red Sox. It is one, the Detroit Tigers, and two, the Toronto Blue Jays. Looking at the Blue Jays situation, they just signed Anthony Santander to a 5-year deal, right? They kind of didn't wait for Alex Bregman to come down on years. They pivoted to somebody else. Now, this doesn't totally take them out of the Alex Bregman sweepstakes. We know the Blue Jays were looking to spend big money this offseason, just haven't landed their fish yet. So it is possible that they're going to spread that out in between Bregman and Santander. But with Vladimir Guerrero's Jr. hard deadline on getting an extension done coming up really, really soon here, I would imagine their focus after signing Santander has shifted more towards them re-signing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. than it has bringing in outside talent, right? You sort of knock off that box. Okay, we got a bat to go with Vladdy. Let's go make sure Vladdy's here for a long period of time, as opposed to, okay, we got a bat for Vladdy. Let's get another one and then possibly try to sneak in a Vladdy extension before the deadline. If their priority right now is extending Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it makes it less likely that they are going to come after Alex Bregman, and signing Santander, in my opinion, pushes them more towards the extension territory than it does the let's sign Alex Bregman territory. So all of a sudden, the Red Sox are starting to look a bit more appealing than the Toronto Blue Jays. Then you add in the fact that the Detroit Tigers simply can't figure out how to make it work with Bregman. They are at a full stop standstill. That means that both sides are sitting there and they aren't budging on what they want. It more than likely kind of sounds like the similar situation to what we as Red Sox fans are imagining the Red Sox are dealing with Bregman, right? Where we're sitting here as fans and we're saying, well, the Red Sox are probably sitting there asking for 3 or 4 years. Bregman's probably sitting there asking for 5 or 6 or 7, and the Red Sox don't want to move. It's probably a similar situation with the Detroit Tigers, which is actually good news for this Red Sox team because Bregman wants to come to Boston. We know this, right? We know he likes the appeal of playing at Fenway Park. We know he likes the appeal of playing with Alex Cora. You know he likes the appeal of playing in the AL East. We know all these things about Alex Bregman, which means if the Tigers and the Red Sox are in a similar category here and they put up similar deals in value for Alex Bregman, there's a solid chance that, in fact, Bregman's going to choose the Red Sox over the Detroit Tigers. The real fear here with the Tigers was always possible that they end up caving and giving him a lot more than what the Red Sox were willing to go to, right? That was always sort of the fear, that the Tigers were going to sit there one day and say, no, you know what? Screw it. We're going to give you 6 or 7 years. We're going to make you a Tiger for the rest of your career, and you're going to be here and help us develop this young talent. Now it sort of feels like that's the total opposite. Now it feels like the Red Sox are saying 3 or 4, the Tigers are saying 3 or 4, and Bregman's saying 5 or 6, which puts the Red Sox in a similar ballpark, which is absolutely fantastic news if you're the Red Sox. So looking back at the question of why is this important to the Red Sox, it's because it means that the Red Sox are now legitimately towards the forefront of this Alex Bregman stuff, even without a contract offer given. If the Red Sox are still sitting there and they're saying 3 or 4 years and then we'll start talking money, they might not still have a legitimate contract offer on the table for Bregman, but what they may have is legitimate leverage at this point, and that is a very, very good thing if you are a Red Sox fan. But this wasn't the only sort of, I'm going to put report in quotes here, that we got over the last couple of days, so we need to talk about those as well. On top of Detroit Tiger beat reporters speaking on the latest where they stand with Alex Bregman, we also got another, again, report from Carlos Baerga, who has been all over the Red Sox and Alex Bregman over the last couple of days. In fact, just yesterday, he put out a report that translates to the Red Sox could be reaching an agreement with Alex Bregman in the next few days, and he will be playing second base. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I don't know how much I'm going to put stock into this report, and it's for one specific reason. It's because Baerga also put out this exact same tweet outside of essentially the second base stuff a few weeks ago with the Detroit Tigers, right? Now we know that the Detroit Tigers are sort of on the outside looking in. At the bare minimum, they are not anywhere closer than the Red Sox to signing an agreement with Alex Bregman. So right off the bat, right, if you're going to put out the exact same tweet about another team regarding the exact same free agent, the credibility doesn't totally line up here, right? And on top of that, Baerga has been known to sort of jump the gun with these kind of reports. Last year, he said the Red Sox were going to sign Yuri Gurriel. Obviously, didn't end up happening for the Red Sox. He ended up signing a minor league deal with, I think it was the Blue Jays. I honestly don't remember where he ended up. Didn't get a ton of major league time. Totally not the point of this video. The point here is that I don't know how much you guys should be celebrating, or at least I am celebrating this report from Carlos Baerga. Now, there's a chance he could be right? There's a chance that he's sitting there and he is legitimately getting inside information. In my opinion, though, he's just sort of taking an aggregate of what has been reported over the last couple of days or weeks and kind of drawing his own conclusion from that, right? An educated guess, if you will, more so than a legitimate, hey, the Red Sox are closing in on a deal, you should talk about this type reporting. I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into this one, but what I am going to put some stock into because of the credibility history here is Jared Carrabis, which I think is kind of funny that this is the second video in a row we've sort of connected Carrabis to Baerga. It's not on purpose. Carrabis is obviously a totally separate entity here. It shouldn't totally be used as a pros and cons list for Baerga. It's just sort of how this is whole worked out because he has spoken about this Baerga tweet. When asked about it on Twitter, here's Jared Carrabis' response. Quote, I think that's premature at the moment. On top of that, in a separate tweet regarding the Alex Bregman situation, he said, quote, things are changing, just skeptical as to whether or not those changes will be enough in the end. That doesn't sound like a lot here, right? It's still sort of tepid water when it comes to Carrabis' hope that the Red Sox end up with Alex Bregman, but it's a whole lot warmer than it was a couple of days ago, right? Because if you go back to our last video about Bregman's contract offer, we talked about Carrabis sort of putting cold water on all of that. That Carrabis is saying, nope, the Red Sox aren't in any way connected to Alex Bregman in terms of a contract offer. He called the Red Sox booty calling Alex Bregman specifically, right? He did not hold back in his opinion as to where the Red Sox are at. This is sort of a totally different change in philosophy from Jared Carrabis that he's sort of been spewing this off season, right? This is sort of, hey, things are starting to change a little bit. That's an exact quote from what he's been saying. And to me, that's incredibly exciting because, again, you talk about it, Carrabis has legitimate connections straight up with Alex Bregman and Scott Boras. It's not that he's sitting there doing educated guesses. It's not that he's sitting there with outside sources. He's talking directly to these guys straight up. He may keep saying hypothetically, that's exactly what's happening in this situation. So for him to sit there and all of a sudden say, wait a second, things may be changing a little bit. It's not crazy changes, but things may be changing a little bit is, to me, incredibly exciting. Now, the question becomes, what does this all mean? In what way is Carrabis referring to this Bregman situation? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know at the end of the day what this totally means, but if we take this in combination with everything we have heard in this video about Alex Bregman, I kind of have an educated guess and I want to share it with you guys. Here's where I'm thinking the Red Sox are at. We talked about it last video, but I do think the Red Sox sat there and they said, hey, listen, we will take you. We do want you on this team, but we only want you for 3, maximum 4 years. And until you're willing to come down to that conversation, we're not going to offer anything. Well, based on what Carabas is saying, based on what Baerga is saying, based on what Evan Petzel has said, it kind of sounds like Bregman may be sitting there thinking, maybe it's time to open this door a little bit, right? Maybe it's at least time to consider a short-term deal with this Red Sox team or in general, and that puts the Red Sox in a really good spot. Again, this is just a guess from a guy who knows nothing about inside sources. Trust me, if I had inside sources, would be putting out a whole lot more videos, but just based on what we've heard, I don't think this is totally out of the realm of possibilities. And then you go back to, okay, if he is open to short-term deals, if he is open to leaving the Astros and going somewhere else, playing for a couple of years, maybe a year or two, and then re-entering the free agent market, again, we've talked about this 100 times before. The Red Sox are in a really good position to offer him everything that he's looking for. This is a young, competitive team. This is a team that could desperately use a right-handed bat. Fenway Park is a place that he absolutely crushes. It's literally his best statistical ballpark outside of Houston. It feels like a match made in heaven. He knows the manager. He loves the manager, right? They have a lot of things going for them if he's open to a short-term deal. And I got to tell you, for the first time this kind of off season with Bregman specifically, I'm pretty optimistic about where the Red Sox are standing with all this. I know Carabas hasn't exactly opened the door to Bregman. He's not totally optimistic about the idea of Bregman to the Red Sox, but that sort of change in guard pace that Carabas is putting out here with those tweets absolutely gives me some hope. You combine that with the situations of the Tigers and the Blue Jays, and to some degree, right, I'm not going to take it too seriously, the Baerga stuff as well, which being his second time in the last week or so that he's spoken about the Red Sox and Alex Bregman, it's really starting to feel like the Red Sox actually made the smart move here, that they weren't being cheap with Bregman, that they were playing his market really well to get a deal that sort of suffices exactly what the Red Sox are looking for. If that ends up happening, again, they're going to look incredibly smart. I think for the most part, us as fans sat there and we said, oh, the Red Sox, they're kind of being cheap with Bregman, right? They don't love him, but they do kind of want him. If they get him for a perfect deal, they will. If not, he's going to end up on some other team and we're going to feel like we got burned this off season. I know I'm sort of a blind optimist sometimes when it comes to Red Sox baseball, and that's just me as a Red Sox fan, so maybe there's some blind optimism coming into play here, but at the same time too, it's not like I'm basing this off of total blind faith that the Red Sox can get something done. What I'm basing this off of is reports that we've gotten over the last week that are starting to really heavily connect the Red Sox to just simply being the best case scenario for Alex Bregman at this point in his free agency, right? And maybe not even the highest bid, maybe not even the best bid that Alex Bregman has gotten this offseason, but the best case scenario at this point in free agency as we head towards spring training. So for the first time in a little bit, I'm legitimately optimistic here that something can get done with Alex Bregman and the Red Sox, and that's really exciting. I think this is great news for Red Sox fans, but that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm totally off here. Maybe you guys are sitting there saying I'm not believing a damn thing. And you know what? I'm not going to totally argue with you, mostly because until pen is put to paper, there's no reason to give this Red Sox team any rope, any leeway here in terms of them making a big move. They haven't been able to do it over the last couple of years, despite what they've been saying. It's understandable to be pessimistic about this Sox team, so I want you to let me know in the comments down below. Are you still pessimistic? Are you starting to get a little bit optimistic? Where do you think things stand with Alex Bregman and the Boston Red Sox? Let me know all your thoughts. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton. And it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen to these episodes instead of watch them, best way to do that is head over your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you tonight in the live stream and, of course, in the Red Seats.